This week, Mickie James is our Impact Player of the Week.
Wrestling was always like me and my dad's thing. And he was an avid wrestling fan. I grew up watching wrestling, and I watched Georgia Championship Wrestling and all this local, like what would come on the local stations. And you would go, like, it'd cut to commercial breaks, and I'd come off the couch, you know, with an elbow on my little brother or on my dad. And then, but I never really, was like, you know, my ultimate dream in life is to be a professional wrestler. I just was an avid wrestling fan, and I loved it. Being as competitive as I am, I've, you know, certainly tried my best to become the best. And not just, you know, better than any girl, but better than any guy. Because I think that speaks paramount about, like, just, I think people a lot of times they put that stigma, oh, she's a girl, so she's kind of dainty or this or that. And I grew up on a horse farm. I was throwing hay bales, and I've gotten kicked and thrown and everything else, and my grandma would be like, you got to get back on. So for me, like, I knew I was tougher than a lot of the guys, so why not prove it? If I reach a goal, I set a new goal. I'm constantly, like, it's never good enough, like, constantly raising the bar. And for me, I think that you just have to continue to better yourself. And if you just start thinking, if you're complacent in being this person, then it just becomes dull and boring. And that's not who I am. So it's not just competitive against every other female wrestler out there or just in general. I think it's just competitive against myself, constantly raising the bar. Wow, it is true. I have come full circle. And to see it from, you know, not just my humble beginnings, but the beginnings of TNA from when we were just here in Nashville, and to grow into what it has become, I think is really something special. And for me to be able to come back and join TNA and become a part of it when it has blown up to be so big, I know that I have something to offer and to bring to TNA, and now TNA also has something different from before, that they, like, when they would gave me my start and get me this opening where I was out there and people were just getting to know who Mickie James was, and now I'm coming back and people know what TNA is. People know who Mickie James is. The biggest rush that you get is standing out in front of that curtain, and then when they hit your music and you just hear the roar of the crowd. I mean, there's no thrill. It's like when you come through there and you can hear it. Like, that energy just, it fuels me. You know, like, whether they're cheering me or booing me out of the building, it's really just like it's a certain type of energy, and it kind of like fuels that passion and that desire. It's hard to say who might be like a competition. I can tell you that I think that anyone that I go in there, I'm going to give 120%. You know, I'm a force to be reckoned with. You know, there's only one Mickie James, that's for sure. One person who I know probably has it out for me, and it was probably not my biggest fan, nor am I her biggest fan, is Tara. So I can't wait to see her again. I wouldn't come in for any other reason but to take over. I'm all about making history. I'm going after the TNA Knockouts Women's title, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to stop me.